Ice, and we're going to let Christian discuss the NHL.
Absolutely. So what a crazy week for the NHL. And really what started off was a surprise firing. At least in my opinion, it was a surprise. Some people saw it coming. I did not. And that was the Toronto Maple Leafs firing Mike Babcock for the head coaching position for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto hasn't started off too hot, although they are fourth in the Atlantic Division. They're still sitting in the wild card. It's just not what they were hoping for expectations wise. They're sitting at 24 points, which is about 7 points out of the lead for the Atlantic of the Boston Bruins. And it just didn't really work out. It didn't really pan out for them. They didn't like it, which was Mike Babcock was such a big signing a few years back for Toronto. A lot of teams were battling for him to be signed. So I'm sure that Babcock will find another team pretty well or at some point. But yeah, definitely a big surprise. Toronto did win with their first with their interim coach last night. They did get their first win with him behind the bench for them, so that helped out. But yeah, as I said, Toronto sitting at the number 4 seed in the Atlantic, which puts them in the wild card race. Still 24 points. Still a lot of time left in the season. We're only about a third, maybe even you could say a quarter away through the NHL season, in between that area. So a lot of hockey to play. Wasn't too late to make a fire, make a change in your head coaching position, but definitely interesting to say the least. Did not see that happening from Toronto. A lot of controversy, I think, that we'll see continue. But hockey is big in Canada, especially Toronto. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Then real quick, we'll just round out our standings, and the Washington Capitals still lead the way in the Eastern Conference, 36 points. Outstanding play by Washington. They continue to look great. They had a great game the other night against the Rangers, although they wound up with the L, but that's fine. 16-4-4, 36 points, insane. And right behind them, though, is the New York Islanders at 33 and the Boston Bruins at 33. So this Eastern Conference is getting a little more exciting as we get farther through the season. On the Western Conference side, still the St. Louis Blues. So our Western versus Eastern Conference Stanley Cup, obviously, but the Stanley Cup champions of the last 2 years still sitting at the first seeds in each side, so we might still be lucky to see that Stanley Cup final if that happened. Both of them look really good. Edmonton Oilers sitting right behind them, though, with 31 points, and Vegas Golden Knights look really good, too, at 26, and so does Colorado look with 28. So we're seeing a lot of good teams starting to really solidify themselves. We're starting to see some battles for the first seeds. Some teams are starting to fall off, like New Jersey Devils are not looking well at all. We saw actually their top goalie from a few years back, Schneider, actually be put on waivers and moved to the AHL, which was like, wow, all have the mighty have fallen. After seeing he was the big replacement for Marty Brodeur when he moved on to retire and moved on to the St. Louis Blues at one point and then retired. So a lot of teams are making some rebuilds. Unfortunately, the Jersey Devils just not looking good. But we're seeing some great play by other teams. All right, there it is.